Come in, come in. Sit down wherever you feel comfortable. You don't need to say anything tonight. You don't need to explain how the day went or why your mind is still busy. I already know. I've been there too. I'm going to tell you a story. Nothing loud in it. Nothing that will hurry you. Just the kind of story you can close your eyes to, a story that doesn't need you to follow every word, because it was made for drifting. The soup is already on. You can smell it, can't you? Something with onions and a bay leaf and a little something soft. Maybe it's turnip, maybe it's just warmth itself. It has been simmering since afternoon. That's how long I've been waiting for you to settle. Good. Now close your eyes, if they want to close. And just let the story come to you the way warm air comes through a window. Softly. Without knocking. Once, in a village that sat at the foot of a very old hill, there was a man everyone called No-No. No one remembered his given name anymore, or if they did, they'd stopped using it long ago. He'd been No-No since before the oldest woman in the village could recall. A small name. A warm name. It fit him the way an old coat fits, a little worn at the elbows, perfectly shaped to the person inside it. No-No had a kitchen. That is the most important thing to know about him. Not that he had children, though he did, 3, grown now and living in distant places. Not that he had once built his own roof with his own 2 hands, though that was true as well. The most important thing, the thing the village held on to about him, was the kitchen. It was small. Stone floors, worn smooth from 50 years of shuffling feet. A window above the sink that looked out over the hill, where the grass grew long in summer and white in winter. A stove that was always warm, always ticking softly the way old stoves do, like a clock that has decided to live in the kitchen forever. Every night, No-No made soup. Not a different soup each night. Not a special recipe that changed with the season. Just soup. The same one, more or less, though it was never quite exactly the same because he always added what was there, an extra carrot on Tuesdays, a bit of parsley when the garden gave it, a handful of lentils when the cold came. But always soup. And always in the evening. And always with the kitchen light on, just the one lamp above the table, so that from outside, if you were walking back up the hill after a long day, you could see the warm yellow square of his window glowing against the dark, and you knew that wherever you were going, at least that light was on. Now, in this village there was also a woman named Sarah. Sarah had been many things in her life. She had been young once, and quick, and very good at arguing. She had been a mother for many years. She had been a widow for almost as many. And now, in the quieter chapter of her life, she was mostly just tired. Not ill. Just tired the way a person gets when they have given a great deal of themselves to the world and have not yet found the place to sit down and be still. She did not sleep well. Most nights she would lie in her bed and listen to the sounds of the village, a dog somewhere, the wind in the eaves, the distant sound of nothing much, and her mind would move through old conversations, old decisions, old moments she wished had gone differently. Not always sad ones. Sometimes just moments. A summer afternoon from 30 years ago that she suddenly, inexplicably, could not stop revisiting. On the night this story really begins, Sarah had not slept in 3 days. Not 3 days of bad sleep. 3 days of none. Her body was so tired it had gone past tired into something strange and floating, like being wrapped in something heavy and light at the same time. She got up at some point in the middle of the night. She didn't know what time. She had stopped looking at clocks, and she walked to her window. And across the lane, she saw it. Nono's kitchen light. Still on. Still warm. That small yellow square. She went to knock on his door before she had decided she was going to. He opened it before her hand came down a second time, as if he had been expecting someone, if not exactly her. He said nothing. He just stepped aside and nodded at the chair closest to the stove, and she sat in it, and she did not cry, but her shoulders dropped about 3 inches, the way shoulders do when a person finally stops bracing. He ladled soup into a bowl. He set it in front of her. And then he sat across from her and said, very quietly, "Would you like me to tell you something, or would you rather just have the soup?" She said, "Tell me something." And he said, "All right. Let me tell you about the pot." The pot, Nono said, belonged to my mother's mother's mother. Which means it is very old. Which means it has seen quite a lot. He gestured at it. It was a clay pot, large and dark, with a crack along one side that had been repaired so many times the repair had become part of the pot. A whole ridge of hardened something running from the rim to the base like a scar that had stopped being a scar and become just a feature. My great-grandmother, he said, got that pot on the day she married. It came from her own grandmother, who had carried it wrapped in cloth on a journey that took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of walking. The pot never broke. Her shoes did. Her heart did, once or twice. But the pot was fine. Sarah was holding the bowl of soup with both hands, and the warmth of it was moving up through her palms and into her wrists, and she was listening, but she was also beginning, very slightly, to be somewhere else. The comfortable somewhere else of a story. The crack came later, Nono said. My grandmother dropped it. She was very upset about it, apparently. She tried to throw the whole thing away, and my great-grandmother wouldn't let her. She said, A pot that has fed 100 soups does not go in the rubbish because of one bad morning. We repair it and we use it again. They repaired it, and it worked fine. And the crack, once sealed, turned out to not matter at all. The soup still came out the same. The warmth was the same. Nothing that had ever been cooked in it was any worse for the pot being cracked. My mother used to say, Nono said, that the crack was the best part, because it meant the pot had a story. And things with stories in them hold heat better. She wasn't being scientific. She just believed it. And honestly, he said, looking at the pot, I do too. That pot has never once made a bad soup. Not in my memory. Sarah looked at her bowl. The soup was golden and thick, with small rings of onion and something soft at the bottom. She took a spoonful. It was exactly the right temperature. Not too hot. Just warm. The kind of warm you don't have to be careful about. She said, it's very good. He said, it always is. I don't know why, exactly. I don't do anything special. Outside the window, the hill was dark. The village was very quiet. A dog had stopped barking. The wind had stopped doing whatever it does. The whole place had gone into that particular nighttime stillness that only happens somewhere between 2 and 4 in the morning, when the very last of the night owls have gone in and the very first of the early risers haven't yet stirred, and the world is just resting, fully, completely, without apology. Nono refilled her bowl without asking. And he kept talking. Not quickly. Not with any urgency. Just the slow, unhurried way of someone who has told stories long enough to know that the pauses matter as much as the words, that silence is part of the telling. He told her about a winter, many years ago, when the snow came early. He said it was the kind of snow that comes before anyone is ready. October, he said. October snow is the rudest kind. Nobody's coat is ready. Nobody's firewood is stacked. The garden vegetables are still half in the ground. That winter, a family moved into the old house at the end of the village lane. He didn't know them. Nobody did. They were quiet people, a father and a mother and 2 small children, and they'd come from somewhere far away, and they looked, he said, the way people look when they have been moving for too long. Slightly untethered. Like a boat that's been at sea and is trying to remember what it feels like to be in harbor. He said, I made soup that night. The same as always. And I thought, I have more than I need. Which is also always true, come to think of it. So I took a pot across the lane. He shrugged, the way people shrug when they are describing something they think of as very ordinary. The mother opened the door. and she looked at the pot. And she didn't say anything for a moment. Then she said, "We haven't had a warm meal in 4 days." Nono was quiet for a moment. He said, "That's the thing about soup. It doesn't know how long you've been waiting for it. It just arrives and it's warm." Sarah had finished her second bowl. She was not aware of having done this. Her hands were still wrapped around the empty bowl, and her eyes were heavy now, genuinely heavy, the kind of heavy that comes not from exhaustion but from safety. There is a difference. Exhaustion heaviness is uncomfortable, a weight that won't let you settle. Safety heaviness is like being gently pressed into a chair by something very kind. She was still listening, but she was also beginning to drift. Nono kept talking. He talked about his daughter, who lived far away and called every Sunday and always asked, first thing, whether he was eating properly. He said he always told her yes, and it was always true, and that he thought feeding yourself properly was a kind of message to your own body that says, you are still worth caring for. He said he believed this very firmly. He said he thought a lot of sleepless nights came from a body that had been told, in small ways all day, that it didn't matter much. And that soup was one of the simplest ways to say to your body, no, I've got you. Here. Sit down. Something warm. He talked about his wife. Not sadly. Just gently. She had died some years ago. He said her name once, very quietly, and then didn't say it again. But he said she was the one who taught him the bay leaf. He'd always left it out before her. She said, no, a bay leaf is just patience in leaf form. You put it in and you wait and it gives you something back later. He said he had thought about that sentence many, many times since, in contexts that had nothing to do with cooking. You put it in and you wait and it gives you something back later. He let that sit in the room for a moment. The stove ticked. The rain, which had begun at some point without either of them noticing, fell very softly on the roof. Not dramatically. Not in the way rain falls in stories about storms. Just the quiet, thorough rain of a night that means it. There was a boy in the village, Nono said, who could not sleep. He said this without preamble, moving naturally from one story to the next the way old storytellers do, where the seams are invisible and you are simply always inside the story. The boy was about 8. He had been a good sleeper as a baby and a fair sleeper as a toddler, and then, around the age of 7, something had changed. Nobody knew what. The boy didn't know either. He would lie in his bed and he would be tired, genuinely tired, and his eyes would close, and then something would happen, some small fizz in the back of his mind, and he would be awake again. Eyes wide. The night stretching in front of him. His parents tried things. Warm milk. No sweets after dinner. A later bedtime, an earlier bedtime, the window open, the window closed. None of it helped for more than a night or two. One evening the boy's mother brought him to Nono's kitchen. She said, "I don't know if this will help, but I know his mind is too loud and yours is always quiet, and maybe that's something that can be borrowed." Nono had looked at the boy. The boy looked at him. Then the boy looked at the pot. Nono said, "Sit down." And he told the boy a story. Not a complicated one. A simple one about a fish who swam very slowly because it had decided that slowly was the best speed, and everything it passed on its slow journey, the reeds, the stones, the other fish, it saw more clearly and more kindly than anything that moved quickly. The boy ate a bowl of soup, and then another half a bowl. And then his eyes began to do what eyes do when they have finally been given permission. They softened. The fizz quietened. His head drooped once, then twice. His mother carried him home. He slept 10 hours. After that, she brought him back every few nights when the sleeplessness returned. And every time, Nono made soup and told a story, and the boy slept. Not always 10 hours. Sometimes just 6. But always properly. Always the real kind. Years later, Nono said, the boy grew up and moved away. He came back once, as a young man, and he said, "Do you remember me?" Nono said, "Of course." The young man said, "I still think about your kitchen when I can't sleep. I close my eyes and I imagine I'm back at that table." Nono paused. He said, "And does it work?" The young man said, "Every single time." Sarah was asleep in the chair. Nono noticed when her breathing changed, deepened, slowed, settled into that particular rhythm that is unmistakable once you know it. The breathing of someone who has stopped bracing. Who has, at last, let go. He kept talking for a little while longer, in a lower voice now, more to the room than to her. He said, "The thing about a long night is that it always ends. Not always when you want it to, but always. The dark is very faithful in that way. It comes and it goes and it comes and it goes, and it has never once, in the history of the world, forgotten to leave." He said, "You don't have to do anything tonight. You don't have to figure anything out. You don't have to decide anything or fix anything or remember the thing you think you forgot. Whatever it is, it will still be there in the morning if it matters. And if it doesn't matter in the morning, then it never really mattered at all." He was quiet for a moment. The rain was still falling. The stove was still ticking. The pot, old and cracked and perfectly sealed, sat on the back burner keeping itself warm. He said, "Just let the night be what it is. A space. A pause. The long breath between one day and the next. You don't have to fill it. You don't have to be awake inside it. You can just rest. Your body knows how. It has always known how. It is only the mind that sometimes forgets." He said, "Close your eyes now. If you haven't already. Close your eyes and let the soup be warm inside you, and let the story be a soft thing around you, and let the night do what it came to do. There is nothing to watch for. Nothing to wait for. Just this. The sound of rain. The warmth of a kitchen. An old man who has all the time in the world and nowhere to be but here. The hill outside was sleeping too. Everything was. The dog had long since curled into itself at the foot of someone's bed. The birds were deep in their trees. The river at the edge of the village was moving quietly, the way rivers do at night, not rushing anywhere, just moving because that is what rivers do, slowly and without worry. The family at the end of the lane were asleep. All four of them. In their new house that was becoming, slowly, a home. The children curled into each other the way children do when they are very small and very safe. Nono let the lamp burn low. He covered Sarah with a blanket from the chair in the corner. Just draped it over her shoulders, gently, the way you drape a blanket over someone when you do not want to wake them. She did not stir. He sat back down. He poured himself a small bowl of soup. And he sat in his kitchen in the last of the night, and the stove ticked, and the rain fell, and the pot kept itself warm, and he was content. That is the whole of the story. There is no twist. There is no ending that surprises. There is only the kitchen, and the soup, and the quiet, and the fact that somewhere in the world, at this very moment, someone is keeping a light on so that anyone who needs it can find their way to warmth. You found yours tonight. You are already there. The soup is warm. The story is done. And you, finally, beautifully, do not have to do anything at all. Sleep well. Grandpa will be here tomorrow night too.